This is Three Beards Media. Real talk, no filters, no scripts. From sports to culture, we say what others won't. Turn it up, lock in, because it all starts right now. Live from the AKC Andrew Downs Studios and powered by Revelton Distilling Company.
Check out that new intro. Wow, I love it. You guys, I have to apologize that my voice is a little hoarse. Um, I've been fighting allergies and I had a busy weekend. Well, the last few weekends have been busy, and I just think like things have been catching up to me. And as you can see, I am by myself today. Originally, we were going to have Tiffany Lynch from Ember Market on. She owns that boutique in Norwalk, and things just it's just chaos being a small business owner, and I get it. So Tiffany and I are rescheduling, and I didn't want to not have a show tonight. So I thought I would still come on and share the chaos that has been my life in these last couple of weeks. And I think you guys will kind of get a kick out of it because it's kind of crazy to think about um what you go through day to day, and what doesn't kill you truly makes you stronger. And these last 2 weeks have been just that. So I'm excited to share with you the shit show of my life. Just balancing being a small business owner. Um, Obviously, I have a corporate job that I work during the day. I'm also a mom that, even though my kids are in college, I am still very much involved. And so you'll kind of hear how I have balanced those three things in these last couple of weeks. And there were definitely times where I had some breakdown moments. Um, but what I have learned is that it's so important to have a great support system around you, especially in those hard times. And just it makes you also realize and be thankful for all of the good times. That come your way. So hopefully you guys can hear me okay. Because again, my voice is a little out. And so I apologize for that. I just popped in a cough drop to help soothe it, and I've got my water here, which has been helping me throughout the day. So, yeah, let's get started. So, we are going to start out with my outfit of the day. You guys know I love to share what I'm wearing, and it's always from the boutique. Someone actually asked me the other day how much of my closet is actually from the boutique. And I have been a boutique owner for the last almost 8 years. It's 7.5 years. And so I would say my closet right now um, is about 3/4 from the boutique in the last 7.5 years. Now, there are some things that I wear that are from years ago, even before I owned a boutique, and that just is because I do tend to go more towards styles that are a little bit more classic, that aren't as trendy. Maybe they are a little bit, but they're not, over the top trendy. And so I do like to rewear stuff. I also am not one to just always buy new for things unless if I have like a special event or a special vacation or something like that. So I do try and wear things that are already in my closet. But I would say three-quarters of my closet is from the boutique. So a lot of what I wear, it is likely, and that's like from head to toe. Some of my accessories, my jewelry, my handbags, my shoes, again, all from the boutique. But tonight, I am wearing, and stay tuned for this super exciting announcement. This is just a chocolate brown pullover. It's like that scuba material where it's like stretchy all around. Just a little mock neck, and you guys know I love neutrals, and chocolate brown is like one of my favorite colors. And then I've got just our high waist black leggings. So I'm going cozy today since I'm in the comfort of my own home. Obviously, like I'm feeling a little under the weather, so it just works out. But I don't know why this arm is so tall. I'm going to change that. So, announcement moving forward, whatever outfit I am wearing on the podcast, I am doing a special on those items. So, you can get this top. It's available in small to large, or these leggings. They're the high waist leggings. They also come in small to large. You can get them 25% off right now on our website for the next 24 hours. So that special will end at basically 11:59 tomorrow. So if you add them to your cart, you'll see the 25% discount in your cart, and you don't need a code. So there you go. I'm going to start doing that moving forward, just to help move inventory. And it's just a little giveaway that I can do for you since you are watching the show. And if you like what I'm wearing, you can get it for yourself. So, again, this is the offset notched mock pullover sweatshirt. If you just type in one of those keywords, it should pull up. I'll also post a picture so that you guys can see it, and I'll tag the items so that you can see it there too. So that's my outfit of the day. Again, going cozy. And like I said, we will get Tiffany on here and reschedule. We're actually going to do that show at her boutique in Norwalk. So I'm super excited for that. Um, but let's get started into the chaos. So let's see. It all started on Thursday, April 9th. I am working from home for my corporate job, and I get basically I am told that one of my employees is quitting, and that's her last day. She she quit on me in the middle of her shift. And so I'm working. I obviously can't go to the boutique. So there was a short time in which we were closed. And I'm not going to go into details about what happened, just out of respect for the situation and, this employee. Um, but I had, yeah, obviously had to close the boutique for a little bit until I could get there. And this person was also scheduled for that weekend. This was a Thursday. It was the day after our anniversary, and we had plans to go up to Minnesota to the Morgan Wallen concert to celebrate our anniversary. So I couldn't work Friday and Saturday. And so that's kind of when this chaos all started. I had to, reach out to my other employees, and thankfully, on such a short notice, a couple employees stepped up to cover those shifts, and so that worked out for the most part. We did have to close early on one of those days because we couldn't get coverage, and that's just, the hard thing about being a small business and having a small number of employees is, not everybody is available, at the drop of a hat. And obviously I had plans to be out of town. And so I, didn't necessarily want to cancel my plans to cover this, 1 or 2 hour break that we didn't have coverage. So whatever, we made it work. So anyway, we go to Morgan Wallen. That was Friday. We come back Saturday, and Tyler and I do the podcast Monday night. And that week, I was getting ready for my son's fraternity's mom's weekend. Okay, so he is a senior at Iowa State, and I am the Moms Club president. And so I had a lot of extra responsibilities heading into Mom's Weekend. Last minute communications with the caterer, with the wine bar that we were having an event at, making sure the moms were all up to date on, the agenda for the weekend because it's a big weekend. Um, communicating with different leadership people within the fraternity regarding the auction and just different things going on at their house for the weekend. So that week, I knew I have to focus on, mom's weekend. That was like my last responsibility for being the Moms Club president since Andrew was a senior and now new moms will take over. So anyway, I knew that I had to work on that. And I also, for the auction, had already planned and I had already kind of started working on, I was making this coffee table with their fraternity letters. I painted it and that was going to be my auction item. So I had started it, I think on Sunday or Monday. And Tuesday, I am at a Johnston Chamber luncheon, having a great lunch, chatting with some, fellow partners there. And I get a text from one of my friends that has a booth at Painted Tree. And she's like, "Hey, have you checked your email? Painted Tree is closing." And at first I thought she meant like for the day or something. And this was like, I don't know, 11:30 or noon. And so I'm like, okay, that's weird. I get a little break from the conversation that I'm having at the table and I check my email and it says Painted Tree has filed Chapter 7 bankruptcy. If you are a boutique owner or if you have a booth there, you need to get all your inventory out by April 24th and the hours are going to be limited. You can only go between 10 a.m. and 6 p.m. So a more condensed time frame. So this is Tuesday when we get this notification. Obviously, not something that we were planned for. I had a suitcase full of inventory that I was going to take there later on that night after I worked the boutique. And so it was completely like we had no warning, right? So I see this email and I'm like, trying to go through emotions, but keep a smile on my face while I'm at this luncheon. And I finally get home and finish my workday. And then I was scheduled to close at the boutique. So just all of these crazy things were going through my mind. And at that time, I also get to the boutique because we're closed Sunday, Monday. So I get to the boutique on Tuesday. I check the boutique phone and I was so excited because our TikTok for the boutique reached over 1,000 followers, which was one of my goals. I wanted to I think we started January with like 150 followers, and my goal was to get to 1,000 followers before the end of the year, like before the end of 2026. And here we did it in April. So I was super excited about that. And then at the same time, I'm like, gosh, this sucks. Like Painted Tree um, does so much for me and my business, just help offset expenses that I have. And, we do well there. And so it sucks that, we're not going to have that anymore. And obviously, I'm also thinking about all of my friends who are business owners that have a spot at the boutique or at Painted Tree, not only in Clive, but across the US. And so it was just a roller coaster of a day. It's like I was excited. I hit my goal of reaching 1,000 followers on TikTok. For the boutique, but then it's like Painted Tree is closing. You got to get all your inventory out. I have to work all week. I'm again preparing for Mom's Weekend. So it was just a lot happening that week. And it's Tuesday, and I'm, leaving to go out of town on Friday. So Tuesday, I didn't get to Painted Tree because they closed at 6 and I was closing at the boutique at 6. So there was no time for me to get there and get my inventory. So I go into the office for my corporate job on Wednesday, and I'm sitting there and I check my phone and see some postings that you better get your stuff out quickly because the landlord can shut the doors at any time and you may not get your stuff back. And then I go into like freak out mode, but I'm like, whatever, it's fine. By that time, I had already put like some empty totes and some suitcases in my car because I knew that I was going to leave work and then head there on my way home from work and to pack up my inventory. And as I'm walking out to my car, literally my cousin Carly texts me and is like, "Hey, do you need any help packing your stuff up at Painted Tree?" Or no, sorry. I see this text, right? Or this message in a Facebook group that you need to get your stuff out quickly because they can shut the doors at any time. I'm going through like, okay, I need to get my stuff out quickly, but like I'm working until 3 o'clock. It's like 10:40, 11 o'clock when I see this message. And I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna take my lunch. I'm gonna pack what I can over my lunch, and then I'll come back to work, and then I'll go back and finish packing. So anyway, I'm literally walking out to my car and my cousin Carly texts me and she's like, "Hey, if you need any help packing your stuff at Painted Tree, let me know. I'm like free." And I was like, "Actually, if you're free right now, if you want to meet me at Painted Tree, I would love the help to pack. I would love to get all of my inventory out if we can." Just because they said we may not be able to get it if, the landlords close the doors and, then we're shit out of luck. So she met me there and we got all of my inventory literally like, and of course I had sensor tags on all of my clothing because that was a way to, one way to prevent theft. So I was like taking the tags off as quickly as I could, the sensor tags, and then she's just like throwing stuff in the totes and in the suitcases. Excuse me. So we get everything packed up in an hour. Like, we were sweating. I went back to work. It was like it was such a hot mess. Um, but I felt so much better because I was like, "At least I have my inventory now." And it was also really, it was kinda cool being there, and just seeing the amount of people that were there to help us business owners pack up. Literally, as we were packing up, uh, several people walked by and they're like, "Hey, do you guys need any help?" Or, I'm just here to help, with whatever you need." And by that time, we already kind of had a system going, so we didn't need the extra help, but it was nice to, like, know that there were other people there willing to help. It was, one of the positives I saw out of this whole thing was just the amount of support and kind of, like, the community coming together to support us business owners and whatever we needed, because again, it was just a lot. Um, so anyway, we got all my inventory packed. She drives a van, and so she was able to fit everything in her van. She took it back to the boutique, and I went back to the office. Finished my day, and I was like, "Okay, I'll worry about my fixtures when Tyler and I get off work because I had already planned to go there after work anyway, and then I'll be done with, getting all of my stuff out." So we get to back to Painted Tree and realize that we don't have his tools to, take stuff apart. And it was also pouring down rain then. This is Wednesday. And I'm like, if we pull stuff out, like this is all gonna get wet, like it's just gonna be a mess. We also didn't have the truck because it was up in Ames with Andrew. We just had the two cars. So we're like, whatever, we'll come back tomorrow with tools and we'll take all of this stuff apart. It'll fit in the cars, whatever. Or we were gonna go up and switch cars with Andrew to get the truck. So yeah, it was literally a shit show. It was a shit show. So fast forward to Thursday. Meanwhile, I get home from work on Wednesday, and then I was like, "Okay, I can work on this table that I'm painting for mom's weekend." And so I'm like up late every night just finishing my stuff for mom's weekend and doing all of that, sending late night emails to everybody, trying to get everything coordinated, whatever. Thursday rolls around and I ended up taking a half day from my corporate job because I was like, I just have too much on my plate. I have to finish this table. I have to get my fixtures out of paint a tree. Um, I have, there's just random stuff that I like have to get done because tomorrow is mom's weekend. It's like when it all starts. So I took a half day on Thursday and um yes, I'm sick, Deanda. Um, yeah, I have like no voice. Hopefully you guys can still understand me. But yeah, it's definitely raspy and my throat hurts. I've got a cough drop helping me. Um, so anyway, Thursday, my cousin again so graciously met me at Painted Tree, and we both have our husbands oh, what do you call it? Little drill screwdriver things. They're like automatic. I don't know what they're called. Um, but Tyler put the thing in that I needed, that he knew that I needed into the drill. I'm just going to call it a drill. I don't know what it is. And I knew that I had to put it on reverse to take screws out. So literally both of us are like in my booth, like taking all my fixtures down and everything. We get everything loaded into her van again. Or I still was on PTO from my job. And so we were both able to unload, get everything in the boutique, and literally the boutique was like a hot mess of like inventory everywhere, fixtures everywhere, and excuse me. Um yeah, it was a mess. And I was leaving the next day to go to Ames for the weekend. I was going to be there Friday to Sunday, but I'm like, whatever, I guess I'll deal with this later. So anyway, fast forward to Friday. I again have a half day, which was already planned because I was working in the morning. I had a hair appointment because I got to cover these grays. Being a small business owner, I feel like I'm getting more and more grays. Um, so I had a hair appointment and then I was going to go up to Ames right away because our first event started at 5 o'clock for happy hour. So I get up there and everything was running smooth. But I was running a little late. I go to pick up balloons at Hy-Vee and I am it was super windy that day, holding on to like 6 balloons, and of course they offered me a big bag, and for some reason I declined to use getting the bag, which is so dumb. But I've got these 6 balloons in my hand, parking on Main Street. It was at Della Viti. Parking on Main Street in Ames, there's like 0 parking, so I had to park far away. I've got a suitcase full of mom's weekend t-shirts that people were gonna pick up, and I've got 6 balloons in my hand, and I'm like rolling down the street trying to like keep everything together. And of course, one of the balloons takes off, and I am just like pissed. I'm like, damn it, like one of these balloons went off, and like I'm just annoyed and pissed, and I was not in a great mood at that time. So I get to the wine bar, get everything set up, and I just like I wanted to break down in tears, all because a balloon fell like went up in the air and I didn't have 3 purple and 3 yellow. Now I had 2 purple and 3 yellow, and I like literally wanted to cry. And I did get a little emotional when one of the moms came up to me and she's like, "I'm so sorry to hear about Painted Tree." And I just like was like, "Oh God, here come the tears. I am just overwhelmed. It's been a week. Here I am wanting to have just like a great time for mom's weekend. The fucking balloon went up." And I was just annoyed. So anyway, even though it was like my last year of being Moms Club president, I did have 2 moms that were helping me and they are taking over moving forward. So they very so graciously stepped up and was like, "You know what? We'll take care of the t-shirts. We'll take care of the balloons and tearing down when this is all done. You just enjoy your time with Andrew, and we'll reconvene tomorrow morning at the house, like, we got this." And so I really appreciated that because, like, that's what I needed. I just needed to, like, not be in charge of anything anymore. I just, like, wanted to spend time with Andrew in his last, event, at Iowa State. So so we go to, so we do this happy hour. It's only moms and it's a meet and greet. And we're at a wine bar and that it's for like 2.5 hours. And then we go to a hockey game that the boys are putting on for a philanthropy event to raise money for JDRF, type 1 diabetes. And we go to the hockey game. You guys, they have never won, this event, but they won this year, so that was super exciting. But then after the hockey game, they were so excited that, of course, they wanted to go out to the bars. And so we go out to the bars, and Julia had a few too many shots. Again, it's been a stressful week. I was ready to let loose, and I did. Drew and all of his friends were, having a good time, and I thought that I was also 22, not 42, and so I'm taking shots and having a great time. And the next morning, I still had to go pick up orange juice for brunch, get name tags, drop off tablecloths that were still in my car, um, and yeah, just, like, start helping out with check-in for the brunch and the auction that was happening that day. So I wake up so hungover, and I was like, "How am I gonna get through today? Like, this is so bad." I didn't even have my car at the hotel because I Ubered from the bars to my hotel, so I didn't have a car. Call Andrew, he doesn't answer to come pick me up to bring me to his car. It's like 9 o'clock in the morning. Call his girlfriend, she doesn't answer. So I'm like, "Okay, looks like I'm gonna have to Uber back to my car and then go run all these errands that I have to run." And so I get to my car, everything's fine, drop off the tablecloths, and I'm not even gonna go into the details of the chaos of the getting ready for the auction, but, um, I go to the store then after that, get all the orange juice, get the name tags, and I was late to check in, but again, the 2 moms that were helping me this year, they got everything started, and so it was fine. But, I'm sitting there at brunch at their fraternity house, and I did not feel good, and Andrew could see it on my face. He's like, "Mom, pull it together, like, you look like a mess." And I'm like, "I am trying." I have this plate of food in front of me, and I'm like, "I can't even eat it. I'm gonna get sick. This is not good." And they have public bathrooms on the main floor for, women or whatever, because obviously it's a house full of guys, but, I was like, "I cannot go into this public bath," and now this is, like, too much information. I cannot go into this public bathroom and throw up in front of these moms. Like, that is so embarrassing. If somebody were to walk in and see me, like, that would not be a good look. But here I am telling you guys that it happened now because it is kind of funny afterwards. But, so I'm like, I, like, knew I needed to throw up. So I ask the house mom if I can use her bathroom because she has, her own, like, apartment on the main floor with her own private bathroom, kitchenette, all of that. And so I was like, "Can I use your bathroom? It's, an emergency." And I didn't wanna tell her I had to throw up either. So I go and, do what I needed to do, and I went out, had a smile on my face, thought I felt better, and we wrap up brunch. I'm feeling better. We're starting to get ready for the auction. And for the auction, it's like a pretty big deal. This is the time that we raise money for Mom's Club. It's like the only fundraiser that we do. Um, there's just a lot that goes into it. And we do a silent auction and a live auction. And before we kick off the auction, I talk about what the Moms Club is, encourage people to get involved, what we do with the Moms Club, all of that. So it's like about to start in like 15 minutes. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm going to get sick again. So I like run back to the bathroom and I get sick again for the second time. And I was like, gosh, I'm not even going to be able to have fun today. Like, I just feel like crap. Like, why did I take those shots last night? Bad idea. I cannot keep up with these 22-year-olds. So anyway, we go about the auction and it ended up being fine. It was a success. It was so much fun. And then we finally go out. We just like did some day drinking, and finally I started to like sip on some alcohol, hair of the dog type thing. And I thankfully recovered, and I didn't get home that night until like 2:30 a.m. So again, it was a successful night and I didn't get sick the next morning. So anyway, so that was the chaos of that week, just dealing with the employee quitting, Painted Tree closing, me having to get all of my stuff out, getting ready for Mom's Weekend, getting through Mom's Weekend, and then, we had this week, which thankfully, because I already had an event planned at the boutique for Saturday the 25th, I just kind of refocused and knew that, okay, I've got a lot of extra inventory to get rid of. What can I do to help move things along? And so I did, at the event, an extra percentage off our markdown items. So it ended up working out great. The timing was great. I'm going to take a break here and we will come back and talk about more chaos. So stay tuned, guys. Thank you so much for being here and working through my voice. I will be right back in about 5 minutes.
Gentlemen, let's be honest. Finding the perfect gift for your wife or girlfriend isn't always easy. You want something thoughtful, stylish, and unique. And that's exactly what you'll find at Styled by JJ Boutique. Julia Bradshaw and her team strive to be your go-to boutique for casual, boho, and chic clothing and accessories, helping women elevate their style one piece at a time. Located right here in Johnston, Iowa, Styled by JJ brings trendy, high-quality fashion that boosts confidence without breaking the bank. So, if you're looking for a gift that says, I get you, instead of I tried, head to Styled by JJ Boutique. Because nothing makes her smile like feeling beautiful. Styled by JJ Boutique, where style meets confidence. Visit our Johnston location or shop online at styledbyjjboutique.com.
Buying or selling a home is one of the biggest decisions you'll ever make. That's why choosing the right real estate team matters. The Jenny Farrell team with RE/MAX Concepts has been helping families across the Des Moines metro find the right home since 1998. Born and raised right here in the community, Jenny understands the neighborhoods, the market, and what truly makes a house feel like home. Whether you're buying your first home, upgrading your space, or preparing to sell, the Jenny Farrell team provides expert guidance every step of the way, from market analysis and listings to negotiations and closing. Their consultative approach means you'll feel confident, informed, and supported throughout the entire process. Jenny Farrell Team, RE/MAX Concepts. Call or text 515-779-7500. Visit jenniferfarrell.remax.com. Experience you can trust. Results you can move into.
In the heart of Des Moines, one name stands above the rest. Step inside, where tradition still matters. Warm, familiar, unmistakably Iowa, where every guest is welcomed like family. Service that's personal and never rushed. Fresh starts made daily. Iowa beef, hand-seasoned. Guided by fire, built on flavor. Served with pride. A bar as bold as the menu. Featuring the old-fashioned we're known for. A place that stays with you long after the night ends. Iowa Beef Steakhouse, 1201 East Euclid Avenue, Des Moines. Steak, done right. Not every animal gets a fair shot, but that's exactly what Animal Lifeline of Iowa is here to change. Since 1986, they've been stepping in for the ones who need it most. Injured, abused, orphaned, and special needs cats and dogs across Iowa. This isn't just a shelter, it's a lifeline. As Central Iowa's only no-kill shelter dedicated to special needs animals, they provide life-saving care, rehabilitation, and the opportunity for every animal to find a forever home, no matter how long it takes. But here's the deal. They can only save as many lives as the community supports. So get involved. Donate online. Hit up the Animal Lifeline thrift store, where every purchase fuels their mission. Or, better yet, find your next best friend and adopt. Because every tail wag, every purr, starts with someone like you. Animal Lifeline of Iowa, where we provide much-needed TLC and a safe space until they find their home.
Freight brokers and shippers, are you tired of drowning in emails, spreadsheets, and endless manual work? Introducing USFX, your AI-powered private freight command center. Simply email your PDF rate confirmation or bill of lading to intake@us-fx.com. In seconds, our AI captures every detail, sets up your shipment, verifies carriers, and launches a live digital workflow. No IT setup, no delays. Build your private carrier network instantly. Send bids only to your trusted partners and watch real-time tracking handle everything from pickup to delivery. Cut the friction, boost your margins, scale with ease. USFX, the smarter way to move freight. Visit us-fex.com today and get your free demo. Start transforming your operation. Let's be honest, pizza is something almost every family enjoys. You're already grabbing one at the store, so why not choose the best tasting pizza that also supports a cause we all care about? That was the challenge behind We Will Pizza. Create the ultimate frozen pizza for Cyclone fans. Big flavor, bold toppings, and options for everyone, including gluten-free choices that don't sacrifice taste. And if you haven't tried it yet, the real MVP? The breakfast pizza. Perfect for early kickoffs, tailgates, or watch parties when Hilton Magic or Jack Trice Energy is calling. Every bite helps benefit Iowa State student athletes, so your game day spread does more than just taste amazing. It gives back. We Will Pizza. Made for Cyclone fans, built for tailgates, and ready whenever you are. We will, you will, Cyclones will.
Wow, thank you to our amazing sponsors. Looks like we've got some new ones, and oh my gosh, the one about the animals just like pulled at the heartstrings. So go support them, you guys. I was like thinking about if I covered everything about the chaos of my last 2 weeks, and there was something that I forgot. So you know how I said that I had a hair appointment that Friday before I was heading up to Ames to get my grays colored, which they were so bad, by the way. They're getting worse. I was going every 6 weeks and then every 5 weeks. I'm only 42 and am now going every 4 weeks. Like, it's ridiculous. But anyway, I'm sitting there at my hair appointment on that Friday before I was going to head up to Ames, and obviously just dealt with the employee leaving and me having to find coverage for all of her shifts, getting ready for mom's weekend at, the fraternity that week. And now I'm sitting at my hair appointment. I just have to get through this appointment so that I can head up to Ames. Okay. So I'm sitting there and I get a text from one of my other employees, and this is what reminded me of this. I saw that commercial about the animals. Well, her dog, she texted me that her dog was just diagnosed with cancer, and they had to make the tough decision to put him down. And I know like what that's like. We, had to put Jax down a couple, well, maybe 3 or 4 years ago now. And that is like the hardest decision. And she was scheduled to work that day and the next day. So this is Friday, and it's like maybe an hour before her shift, and she gets this call from her vet with the results, and she's obviously a mess. And so my heart went out to her, and I'm like, we'll figure it out. If I have to close the boutique, I'll close the boutique. Like, don't worry about it. You need to be obviously with your dog and your kids. And so that was also like, so I'm sitting there in the chair, and my stylist is doing my hair. We're just chatting. I was like actually talking to her about all the shit that I have been through that week. And I get the text, and I'm like, oh my gosh, like, she's like, what happened now? I'm like, girl, like, you can't even make this up. Like, I need to close the boutique now today, unless if I can find somebody to work. Um, she was like, God, like, you are just going through it. I'm like, seriously. And I start to like get emotional as I'm sitting there in the salon. And I was like, I do not want to cry in front of all these people, but it just like was a lot, and it was no one's fault. Obviously, like, it wasn't planned, but it's just, again, as a small business owner, you just like can't always fix everything, or you can't always like have a solution right away. So I was able to text Carly, and I was like, hey, like, any chance you can cover the boutique? And she did. And then I text one of my other employees to see if she could cover the next day on Saturday, and she was able to. Um, so it all worked out, but it just like, I feel bad having to ask people, at the last minute. And obviously I'm like texting a million people as I'm like trying to relax and get my hair done, but that wasn't happening. Um, but yeah, so that also happened like in like, yeah, just with everything else. Um, but I want to go back and talk about like what the impacts of Painted Tree has, not only on me, but a lot of small businesses. And then we're going to talk about what is to come. So Painted Tree in Clive was actually, from a lot of us business owners, a a great business and a great way to get our products in front of more customers. From our perspective, it did well. Okay. I did profit from Painted Tree Boutiques, and was able to use that money to actually pay for expenses for, the boutique as a whole, whether it was to make rent at my Johnston location, or make payroll, or pay for utilities or insurance, or all the things that go into having a brick and mortar. Okay. So I relied on that income to help offset those expenses. And then yeah, I won't go into all of my financial details right now, but let's just say I counted on that income from Painted Tree, as many business owners did. Now, I am super grateful that I have the brick and mortar. I was able to take that inventory, all of my fixtures, put it in my boutique, and hopefully customers, will walk through those doors and buy that inventory. Not every business owner has a brick and mortar. And so, I've seen so many business owners doing various pop-ups and coming together to put on different events, to just include a lot of different business owners that were there, and give them a way to, reach more customers. So that was it. Although Painted Tree Boutiques as a whole, like maybe not all of their locations across the US did well, in Clive, from a lot of us business owners perspectives, it did do well, and we did rely on that for income. So without that, we have to get creative and figure out different ways to get our merchandise in front of customers. And one thing that like I had to do was, I had new orders on or like in process, that I had to call those different brands and be like, hey, can you cancel this order? Some of them I was able to, some of them I wasn't, because I knew that now I have a bunch of inventory coming back to the boutique that I, need to sell through before I like spend any more money on new inventory. And I know a lot of people also like that is a real thing. Some of these businesses, some business owners, it's just you know, coming from a different warehouse, they don't their money isn't on the line on whether something sells or not. Whereas if you have a brick and mortar with inventory in it, that's thousands of dollars sitting there unless if somebody comes to buy it, right? So we've got a lot of money on the line. Um, so that's, whether it's a brick and mortar or, several Painted Tree boutique owners not only had one location, but they had locations across the US, multiple, and that was their income. So it is like it's a big deal. Um, so yeah, I had to cancel orders, obviously kind of figure out ways to sell through the inventory. Thankfully, I did already have my SIP Snap and Shop event planned for the 24th. So I just like refocused and was like, okay, we'll do a different special to try and get through some of these markdowns, so that I can, obviously like not only make a profit, but then also, you know, have enough money to buy new inventory. So that was helpful. And then, and this is what I'm sharing as a small business owner. You have to get creative. You have to put yourself out there. You have to like, although it's hard to just think like, what else can I do? What else can I do? And kind of be vulnerable. You just have to like put yourself out there. And the boutique in Johnston doesn't get a lot of foot traffic anyway. So like I said, my goal was to grow my TikTok for the boutique to reach more people. And through that effort, I had posted something already in early April that was like, hey, if you want to have a private party here at the boutique, will you just invite your friends? We have drinks. We'll do a charcuterie. You'll have sweet treats. All you have to do is invite your friends. You guys can try different stuff on. You guys get a small discount. The hostess gets a discount. It's like a win-win for everybody, and it brings new customers to your store, right? Well, I had several people reach out to me to book those parties, and so we had our first one last Thursday, and these are all from TikTok, like not my normal customers that I saw every day. It's all from this video that I had posted. And so I had my first one on Thursday last week, which that went really well. And then I had 3 on Sunday. And shout out to everybody that helped me. Not only, so I didn't have any help on Thursday, I did it by myself, but we made it work. But Saturday at the event, Chas and Deenda, you guys helping me throughout that day, I really appreciated it. The 3 events, the private parties that we had yesterday, Tanya and Chaz, thank you so much. Like, it was such a fun day. All of that was from, like I said, TikTok. And so although I have a love-hate relationship with social media, as a business owner, you do have to be engaged on social media and post a lot and, put yourself out there, because that is how you get in front of new customers. And so thankfully all of those events and all those parties, they were helpful to me and my business. And I, just really appreciate that. And then one other thing that I'm going to be doing is scheduling more Whatnot shows. So I started Whatnot in July of last year. And, on top of everything else that I do, it is hard to like find time to go live and be live for sometimes 2, 3, 4 hours. And it's kind of hit or miss on, how you do sales wise on that. But I'm going to go back to Whatnot and do every other Monday on the days that I'm not doing the podcast. And so you guys can look forward to that. But it's just like, you have to hustle, and you have to, you can't just sit back and say, well, I'll just see what happens. It is a grind. And if you want your business to succeed, it is like, you have to just do different things. And it does take time. It does take effort. Um, being a small business owner is definitely not for the weak, but, so I will be doing that. And we are still hearing that there are investors that are interested in opening back up at Painted Tree with a similar business model. If that's the case, I do want to go back into Painted Tree, as long as, they don't increase the rent a bunch, or, as long as it's similar. I would definitely consider it. I would like to go back. I need that, again, to offset my expenses that I have. Um, but then also, like, I really hope that it stays as a local owner, and not somebody that is, down south, that could care less about how well we do here in Iowa. Um, just somebody that owns it locally and will put, money and effort into marketing and advertising and, all of that stuff. Cause I heard from so many people that said, like, they still didn't even know what Painted Tree was. And we've been open for over a year, which is crazy. So, and they live here locally, but, so that's a little concerning. But if something opens, and it sounds like there will be, I'm not going to throw a timeline out there because I don't want to be wrong, but I would say, it's looking good. Yeah, for something to open, I will be back there. Um, so that's my show today. That's what I wanted to talk about, just the chaos of the last 2 weeks. Navigating through that. Like I said at the beginning, it's all about, just having a great support system that is there cheering you on. My husband was amazing, and, picking me up when I was having bad days, breaking down, and he was just reassuring me that, and giving me support, and that, hey, I know this is your passion. I know it's really what you want to do. I'm here for you, and whatever you need, we're in this together. We're not ready to throw in the towel. So the boutique is here to stay. We're going to navigate through what we need to navigate through. And again, it's about having a great support system, and, my friends and my ambassadors that are always there cheering me on and stepping in when needed. My employees, who are amazing, that, come into work every day and are in a true extension of me, and doing everything that I expect, or things that I would do. I really appreciate them. So that's my show today. Again, you can get my outfit of the day for 25% off now through tomorrow. That'll end. So yeah, we'll see you in a couple weeks. Gonna have my daughter on, which by that time she will be done at Kirkwood, finishing her associate's degree. So I'm super proud of her. So we're gonna talk about it's kind of gonna be like a Mother's Day special, and we're gonna talk about what is next for her as she finishes her associates and then starts her next chapter. So look forward to that. Thank you so much for being here. And thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a supportive customer, not only for the boutique, but for the podcast and myself. So have a great night, everyone.